Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Rooster Stone Show. Ta-da! Yeah, man, I'm here with my good friend Dave Pedrick. We have got a special show for you today. I've been holding this one in the can for years till I could get Dave on the show.
It's an
and
honor.
He's here.
Oh.
We're going to do it, man. So, Beatles Best Bridges. That's the show today.
A nearly insurmountable task.
Yeah. I mean, and it really was. It was one of the most difficult things I've literally ever done. That's a lot of literallys. I've been intentional on this show about not doing, overdoing Beatles content. Yeah. I feel that so often it's just overdone. Everyone's doing it. Everyone has done it. They have been talked about to death. So when I imagined doing a piece on the Beatles, I wanted it to be something unique. And so, years ago, I thought of this idea, right? And I'm like, I got to get Dave on the show. But I wasn't really doing the show the way I'm doing it now back then. Right. So I'm finally able to do it. We're able to work out our schedules. Here he is.
It is my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So as a songwriter, you learn to study this group. Yeah. In ways that the casual listener never dreams of. And one of the things I've always been impressed by, and we've spoken about this numerous occasions.
Oh, yeah.
Saddled up, to the old guy there. And in terms of their compositions, it's their bridges. Or as they would say, their middle eights.
Yeah.
So, to the average listener who's not a songwriter, what is a bridge? Some of you may know what it is. Some of you may know when you hear it, but aren't necessarily sure what it is. But it's a section of a song, usually in the middle, that offers a change of pace or a contrast to the verse and the chorus of a tune, both musically and lyrically, if it's done well. I have always used the bridge personally as a place to say something unique about a song's topic or to be revelatory about lyrics that may have hidden or cryptic meaning. Yeah. But if you're going to make a study of these things, why not study the masters?
Yeah.
I don't need to make some big introduction to the group. They're cultural icons. Do you have anything you wanted to say about?
I would say that it's excellent, well put. Billy Joel, of all people, said that what he would have taken away from the Beatles is that you could be someone else on the bridge, which I always thought was interesting.
Wow.
You could have a different persona for those
brilliant.
middle eight bars. I'm trying to think of a good example. She's Right on Time, the bridge to that song. He was trying to be Ray Charles, and you could channel it and still get away with it.
Yeah.
It had to be different. So I always thought that was a good takeaway from someone who obviously wrote a lot of hits.
Yeah, obviously. And the coolest thing about this and looking at this kind of stuff is that, the Beatles, as they progressed, it became more and more difficult to determine, well, is that a bridge or is that a chorus or what are we looking at here? And so I kind of used this sort of, rubric with it. If it didn't sound like a refrain and it felt like a totally different sort of shift in the song, I counted it as a bridge. Yeah. All right. And even if it happened more than one time.
Yeah, right. Good point.
So let's get at it, man. I mean, you're going to kick us off right now. Your first song, and we both already said this, that this list would probably change. I'm looking at my list now thinking, crap, I should have chosen this, and this.
Me too.
So we may revisit this topic because let's be honest, you could probably do this topic with one album.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Particularly the early ones.
Yeah, agreed.
So kick us off, man.
I'm starting early. One of my favorite bridges of all time, not just from the Beatles. It's If I Fell from A Hard Day's Night, 1964. If you're listening to the record, you're third song in. Her. It's just text painting to the and it's the only song that has that chromatic. He starts it. It's already kind of ethereal. Mm-hmm. Like what's even happening? What key are we in? What's going on? Then it sort of kicks in, and this bridge, it's basically an elision. It's Hurt My Pride like her. Oh, that's dissonant. And then it leads into that because I couldn't stand the pain. And it's one of the first times, if not the first time, we get that major four chord that goes to the minor four chord. Speaking of Billy Joel, Just the Way You Are. And later, My Life is probably the big one from here. Things We Said Today is another. There's all kinds of other examples. But to me, it's sold because it's the two of them on one mic. And it just sounds
They were
It's
used
perfect.
to it,
Yeah,
and it did
exactly, exactly.
This song. Oh, I'm so glad you chose this one. What right at that moment to that harmony. I'd be sad if I knew love. When they hit love, and it's just that sort of like,
Oh yeah.
like something in you turns a little because you're just like, oh, that just gets you. It's like grabs you. I just love the bridge to this song.
Yeah.
It's so
and,
good.
And the second, because it does happen again, was in vain.
Yeah.
And Paul just disappears.
Yeah.
And he like literally just kind of glottles up, chokes up.
Yeah.
And there it is for all to see. Hopefully he doesn't change it.
And this album was the moment too. Let's be honest. This was this is their third album. This is the moment where they consciously stepped it up a notch.
Agreed.
They did.
Agreed.
They consciously, and every album after that was a leap forward. So what a great choice.
Well,
An excellent lead off. The song I chose first is, I literally chose this because I keep saying literally. I chose this song because when I first started to think about this idea as a show, this was always the song I thought of first. I'm choosing I'm Looking Through You from Rubber Soul, 1965. Perfect. Why, tell me why did you not treat me right? Love has a nasty habit of disappearing overnight. Anyone who knows me knows that Rubber Soul is my absolute favorite album by the Beatles. Yeah. Every song is a flawless masterpiece. It continues and puts into hyperdrive the changes that were taking place in the group, starting with A Hard Day's Night, as we just talked about. Truthfully, I could have chosen all three of my favorite bridges just from this LP.
Yeah, there's some good bridges on this.
That's how strong this album is. Yeah. But when I was first imagining this show idea, this is the song I thought of. All right? And it does what a good bridge is supposed to do. It breaks up the tune. It makes a unique and poignant statement about the song's topic. It's interesting to note that the Beatles anthology has earlier versions of this song without that bridge.
Yeah.
So it obviously manifested itself during the recording sessions themselves. Thankfully so, this is far and away my favorite bridge on their gargantuan catalog.
That is saying something.
Yeah.
And on that album, too, with the American release, has the false start. Mm-hmm. It's always like a mistake kind of left on.
I
agree. There are, I'm trying to think of bridges that aren't up to stuff, but that Rubber Soul is a classic. Yeah. This song is great, and that bridge is great too. And it's the melody's good, obviously the lyrics are good, but it's the other stuff that's going around. It's getting a little twangy. Mm-hmm. You're getting a little, like a lot of stuff in the periphery that helps kind of jangle it back to the verse. I agree. This is, Wait is another one from that album. Like, if I had to pick between the two, this one is stronger, though, I would say. Yeah, I think
Wait is good, though.
This week, I would pick.
Yeah,
I'm Looking Through You.
Oh yeah, I have to really punch myself not to just go off on some random conversation about the song Wait right now. Yeah. So I'm just going to be quiet and allow you to talk about your second song.
Well, you've known me a long time, Mo. It's going to be No Reply.
I knew you were going to choose this one.
From Beatles for Sale, which is one of the more underrated albums, those first four tunes, and this kicks it off. So just Lennon, solo vocal, like, whoa, what's even going to happen here? These guys look pretty tired and beat up on the record. And then you get this killer bridge. This one's lyrical. I picked this one because this does it with the lyrics, where you do get a recap, because you get the title of the song where you gave me no reply is the end of the bridge. So you get the name of the song sort of again, but it's recast. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, this wasn't the beginning where it sounds a little stocky. Like, I watched you go in the door, and I mean, it's how much does that hold up? I'm not really sure. But then it's like, you gave me no reply. It's almost a little finger wag. It's envenomed. It's just like,
it's John.
It's John. It's John being, acerbic, basically. And it just works. It almost has a sort of classical jazz element to it, because it comes back to that same chord. You think it's going to be more of the verse. And I would make the argument that No Reply eventually becomes Imagine. It's in the same key, the chord structure, if you listen to what he's doing, because he plays with this a lot. Yeah. And he does that sort of...
He likes that move. Yeah. Now that you bring that up, I can totally hear that.
And he hints at it in some other songs, but I think it gets sort of codified there in Imagine. But I just love this song.
Dude, this is a great song. And you know what? I'm going to say this about this song. I absolutely love playing this song with you.
Yeah, I love playing with you too.
I wish we had a video of that.
It's
We don't
fun to
have- I don't think
harmonize.
we have that one.
No, I don't
Man,
know.
we need that. We got to just do a show now so we can get that song.
We should.
I need that. I love this song. I love this album.
Yeah.
You know, this album is chock full of amazing bridges. Babies in Black.
The whole first
dude,
one,
yeah. Dude, it's
I love
just-
Babes in Black.
This is a great album, and it really is. It's showing what's going to happen in Help next too.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're always showing their cards.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
can kind of feel what's going to go down next. So yeah, I love it. The only album I didn't get that feeling was from Pepper to White Album.
Yeah,
White
right.
Album was sort of this like, oh, where'd this come from?
Yeah.
Sort of album. But every other album with the Beatles, it feels like the natural progression. And you know, Beatles for Sale is it follows that pattern too. So
Yeah.
for my second song, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna choose a George song. I could have chosen all three George songs. I love his bridges, but this one, is a popular song. I guess all their songs are somewhat popular, but this one's a popular song. I chose Something from Abbey Road, 1969.
Classic.
You're asking me, did my love grow? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. You stick around at my show. I don't know. Yeah. That bridge, you got to sing it. You got to be with it. You're in the song. Even if you weren't in that song before that bridge, you're singing the rest of it out from the first time you hear it. George had a lot of barriers getting his songs approved for a Beatles album. We know that now. We have the conversations. We have sort of that last conversation, where the microphone was there, and Paul was, not being very nice about George's songs. And, we know the process that he went through. And then, with All Things Must Pass, we could see, wow, boy, they dropped the ball on some of these. And so, he had to contend with that well-established Lennon-McCartney songwriting powerhouse. Yeah. So he was sort of like up against it from the beginning, as well as both of their enormous egos. Yeah. And so, and at different times. But I suppose like anything else in life, the competition honed his skills.
Oh, yeah.
They culminated in this masterpiece that Frank Sinatra,
my favorite
critic of this band, named the greatest love song of the 20th century.
Yeah, and you know what he said? He said it was his favorite Lennon-McCartney song.
I love it. Yeah. And really, let's be honest, what higher praise could you give him?
There you go. Yeah, he's like, he had no idea.
What higher,
How could George have written this?
Yeah, well, and the thing is when I listen to this song, there's no way that Lennon or McCartney could write this song. It wasn't their thing.
No.
And so not wanting to argue with even a long deceased Frank Sinatra, I would have to agree. This song really is. It holds up. And it captures the intoxication of love and the romantic dysfunction of being in a relationship about as well as any song I've ever heard. As bold a statement as this may be, this might be the best song on Abbey Road. If it weren't for Here Comes the Sun, his other offering.
Right.
Those George's offerings on Abbey Road were of the highest quality. Yeah. The other guys had hit their prime and might have even been on the way down the mountain. George was hitting his stride on Abbey Road.
Yeah, agreed.
This bridge, both musically and lyrically, is just bloody brilliant.
Yeah, well, and he's doing everything you're supposed to do. It's antiphonal, it's asking the question and answering the question. Mm-hmm. Goes into that major, it's a little shift, and then I'll do another 2 words, Ringo Starr, with the tom. I mean, really elevates the whole feeling. The production on it's got the Moog on it, and you got to tip your hand to James Taylor because that's who he's ripping off here. Mm-hmm. Something in the Way She Moves.
Right.
The song Something in the Way She Moves. He really liked that line, and he just got signed to Apple, and that's my favorite James Taylor song. Yeah. So, and George obviously affected him. So, and that's the other thing, they're listening to all this stuff that's coming in for Apple, the company that they've created, and he's doing, Wonderwall. I mean, he's doing all kinds of other stuff. So he is forced, as you said, he's going to hone in and do it. But the Beatles were always competitive. They're always just, a bunch of 15-year-old, kind of rock 'em, sock 'em. And I think he knew he hit it out of the park.
Sure, he had to have known. You can't listen to this song and not know. When you're a songwriter, when you've done a good job. Yeah. When a song is special. And this one's got it. I absolutely love the bridge, love the song. So there it is.
Perfect selection.
I can't believe we're already at the last one for each of us.
Number 3.
This is a good one, by the way.
It's funny you mentioned the White Album because this one is about. I was kind of doing different atmosphere. This one's about mood and atmosphere. It is from the White Album or the Beatles. Dear Prudence, 1968. Look around. It's the lyrics are nothing. Look around, but they're everything. Because the mood has to change. I keep doing this drummer thing. It's Paul McCartney on the drums on this track. So you're thinking, boy, this is a very different Ringo track. He's really hitting down. But when the bridge hits, it's all the swirly guitars and stuff. But it's just that round. But same. I mean, it's musically probably the least and most uninteresting bridge that they've ever done. But it's everything in the song, and the song would not be as powerful. Of course, it's Prudence Farrow. It's Mia Farrow's sister. They're trying to get her to come out. She's so into. They're in Rishikesh. She's so into the meditation. She's not coming out.
Yeah, she's not eating. She's not like
the boys want to play hooky. They want to get out. They want to get in some trouble.
Yeah.
And so that really does come through. But it's the bridge, and again, it happens again. So it's that one that does repeat that makes the whole track.
I feel like this track too. Like it's the perfect sort of foil for the Beach Boys kind of the sort of anti-Beach Boys beginning of the entire project back in the USSR.
Absolutely, round, get around, I get around.
Yeah,
which he was doing quite a bit back then.
Yeah, and
a lot actually.
I feel like it really sets the tone for that album. And then you're going to rock in with Glass Onion. I mean, it just Dear Prudence is one of those songs that even people that don't dig the White Album, because surprisingly enough, a lot of people I know don't like that album.
Yeah, me too.
But even people that don't like that album like that song.
Yeah.
Dear Prudence is a great song. It's dreamy, and you're right. That sort of round around, it does. It can't hold up saying what it's saying without it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the glue of the time. I mean, it's a lovely intro. It's very guitar heavy. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna get me into this song?
Yeah.
And it needs to open up there. It's one of those things, it's like a good whiskey. You would put a little water in there.
Yeah.
It opens it up. It just kind of blossoming effect.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
People who really dig the Beatles a lot and really like kind of break down their catalog, you see these songs and it's Lennon and McCartney, but people that really know the music know who's writing what.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can tell the lyrical content, the chord structure. All of those things set you off on those paths. And it was interesting, Dave got his songs, chose his final songs before I chose mine. And I did that intentionally because I knew what he was going to do. He was going to do exactly what I would have done.
Because
he chose 3 John songs.
Yeah, I did too.
And
I didn't think I was going to do that.
I knew you would because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Right? And so I looked at it this way. Okay, he's going to choose John songs. I'm going to avoid John songs for that very reason.
Yeah, right.
And so, you can hear him on I'm Looking Through You, but it's still very Paul.
Oh, yeah. And one of his best vocals. It's one of my favorite vocals from Paul.
Yeah.
I'm Looking Through You.
So, I just wanted to, I had to explain that to you because I just thought, I knew you'd notice.
Oh, yeah.
But, those types of things are always kind of going through my brain. And I wanted to sort of, just make sure that I was like, because we're both huge John fans.
Yeah.
It's not that we dislike the other guys. They're all, Mount Rushmore. But John, I don't know. John.
There's a soft spot there.
It's John.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Although the older I get, the more into George I am.
Well, it was hard not to pick a George. Yes, same here. And just as a songwriter, that post Beatles.
Yeah.
Partially because of the age and partially the abuse that he took.
Yeah.
Mentally and whatever.
Yeah.
Really did crank out some great songs.
His spiritual journey really connects with me. I find that I am more of I am more sort of connected with him and what he says from a lyrical standpoint than I am with the other guys.
Excellent.
And so, that's just what I found. But, I digress. I can't believe that was the first real digression this whole show. So my last song, I'm going to the end, baby.
Yeah.
All right. I chose The Long and Winding Road. Let It Be 1970. This is the last released album from the Beatles, though it wasn't the last thing they recorded. Many times I've been alone, and many times I've cried. And anyway, you'll never know the many ways I tried. When I was young and getting fully acquainted to the Beatles, I didn't really know I didn't know this wasn't really their last album.
Yeah.
right? Because I have this thing that I do when I get really into a band. I will start from the beginning, and I will immerse myself in each album and take the journey, especially if it all happened before I was born, which it did. So I didn't really know this wasn't the last album. So to this day, I catalog this album in my collection after Abbey Road as the bookend of their music. Because of this, I've always considered this song sort of their farewell song.
Yeah.
Thanks, farewell. Thanks for the fish.
Right.
It's just how I've always done it. It's classic Paul.
Oh,
This song is what John would have called Paul's granny music.
Yeah.
But 100 million Beatles fans can't be wrong, man.
That's right.
I'm using it again. It's only one of two songs that you will ever catch me singing at a karaoke bar.
Wow.
I don't do karaoke. I feel like it's hot rodding, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't do that. Now and again, if people are really putting pressure on me, or I'm just in the mood or whatever, but only two songs will I choose. This is one of them. Okay. The very best parts of this song are the bridges.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the strings or the melody or Paul's sweet voice, but this song really just gets me in the feels, man.
Yeah.
I feel a sense of loss hearing it.
Agreed. And this is really the song that broke him up. I mean, Spector's, he's got strings and there's female voices and stuff. And the Let It Be Naked version, which, I happen to enjoy a bit more. And you hear that lovely little piano part. I mean, Paul's doing a nice little counter melody thing there. It's still rising and falling, and you're interested in what's happening. Like there's a counterpoint to it. And if you just sit there, everybody knows the song, and you just sing it, you're like, wow, that's a pretty good melody. But quintessential Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he loves that rising something. So here, there, and everywhere. You start here. Paul likes to ascend.
Yeah.
He's moving up, and then he's going to hit that 5 chord and take you back, and then we're going to wow you with the bridge.
Right.
And that's what he does with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, he just, there's a quality in his voice, particularly at sort of the coda of their career, that is very nostalgic. I don't know. There's just something about that with him. John's trying to break free of the Beatles at this point in time. He's got heroin issues, but he's also got this desire to return to sort of that, Hamburg club rock and roll.
Yeah.
And, they're just going in a different direction. And, but this song, it just does. It feels like a farewell. It feels like a hug at the end and saying, thanks for, sticking around. Thanks for coming on our journey with us.
Right.
We're leaving now. And there's something about that it pokes me and makes me feel, a little melancholy when I hear this tune.
And you're right. If the bridge is not there, like sometimes it's really like a bonus. This sounds great, but it's a glue structure thing again. Without it, it's in tethers. It doesn't hold up. It needs something to break it up and take you on that melodic ride as well. You need a little break from the all the drama and all. No, I just need to reflect.
Yeah.
And if then the middle is done, then we're back to the ride.
We're back to it. Yeah. I know. These are our choices, man. I mean, you probably are sitting here thinking, I can't believe you didn't choose
anything else.
A, B, C, D, F, G. And you know what, man? I can tell you right now, we can't either. 3 songs each was not enough.
No.
And so this show will probably happen again eventually, where we'll have all new songs because, let's be honest, they are the masters. They set the stage for what modern music is today. And that is why they are, over talked about. It's why, I've tried my best to kind of be very thoughtful about discussing them. This is only the second time I've discussed them since I began the show.
Yeah.
I had them on one of the, the original versus covers episodes, which you can check out, by the way. But that was it. That was the only other time I've talked about them. So here it is, the Beatles, Our Bridges. We have chosen them. Take to social media, comment, and tell us what your favorite bridges are from the band. In fact, you know what? Just tell us what your favorite bridges are. Yeah. Like if you've got a bridge that you really feel like does it for you, let's hear it, man. I am always on the lookout to either be reminded or exposed to new music. Whatever's going on, we love to hear about it. But don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media sites. Don't forget to check out davidpedrick.com to hear Dave's original music, which is absolutely fantastic. We got to do a review of one of your albums one of these days. That would be amazing. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking around. If you've been here till the end, thanks so much for being a good person. And don't forget about peace and one love. Come on over to roosterstone.com, where you can book the band for any event you can imagine. Acoustic, full band, whatever your event may require. You can also email us to take online music lessons at an affordable monthly price. Don't forget to download our original music and like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media platforms. Keep rocking out at roosterstone.com.